Okay, so this is the Israel and Robert Whittaker fight. This is the fight for the middleweight championship. As you can see, Israel has a reach advantage over Robert Whittaker. Israel is also the taller fighter in this fight. Now, there's a lot of pressure for both of these fighters going in, not just because it's a championship fight, but because Robert Whittaker is also from Australia. Israel Adesanya is from New Zealand by way of Nigeria. And so, there's a big rivalry between those two countries, between New Zealand and Australia. And so this fight is taking place in Australia as well. So there's a lot of pressure going into both of these fighters. I wouldn't say there was bad blood between them, but there was a lot of, trash talking about what one was going to do to the other necessarily going into this fight. So I wanted to show this. This is not part of the fight, obviously, but I wanted to show this choreography before coming in because this had never, as far as I remember, I'd never seen anything like this in a UFC fight. The type of pressure that you're under for you to come out to like a choreographed dance with like a bunch of your boys speaks to an incredible level of self confidence. Like, because the internet is going to kill you if you do this and you lose this fight, right? So this was just showing the kind of mindset that he had coming into this fight with the attitude that he wasn't going to lose. One of the things I want to highlight before actually breaking down this fight is some of the things that we've already seen in Izzy's games: the feinting, the stance switching, the different array of attacks, especially on the right side, but just in general, he varies it so well you don't know what's coming. One of the things that we talked about, I mean, Gastelum got him quite a bit in the last fight, but one of the things you notice is he has incredible reflexes. Um, he sees things very well. A lot of people, when you try to like attack, they cover up, which I think is probably human instinct, right? Like you cover up, you put your hands on your face or hands around your head, to try to protect. He actually has this matrix type thing where he moves back or he just uses movement. When I say matrix, and we'll see some of that. He moves so well in these exchanges. He doesn't like I mentioned in the Gastelum fight. He is always evading with the intention of counter striking, and you see that in great detail here, especially. So coming into this fight, Robert had obviously watched the Kevin Gastelum fight and had figured out that Gastelum, who was using that hop and hold to be able to get in and hit Israel, he figured he would use something like that. And so we'll see when the fight starts that he stands on like the balls of his on the tip of his toes, and he's almost like has like a hoppy type style where he's trying to get in. And that was one of his plans, was to try to rush in. And when I say rush, I don't mean like an uncoordinated strike. Just trying to like, pretend like feint like he's going to come and then jump in range, lead with a jab, and then try to land a few combinations from there. But in this fight, Izzy was ready for this from the very start, and we'll see some of the ways that he countered this. So you see here as the fight starts, this is what I meant by that hopping style. You can see he's kind of bouncing on his toes, feints, and then that's what I mean by like the style that Robert has. And you're gonna see here just about now he's going to try to rush in and hop into range and then throw that jab. And what he's trying to do is hop in, throw the jab. If Easy's occupied by that, then he wants to land with something else after that as well. And Izzy does a very good job of anticipating that. And one of the things that Robert does is when he hops in like that, he's trying to escape the other way. In this example, you didn't really see it, but I'll show you again so you see. So Robert, when he comes in this direction, he's trying to escape in this direction over here. I don't know if you can see that. So he's going to hop in. And this one, I think he slips right there. But you can see it looks like it's going to hit, but none, like a lot of these barely graze Izzy or miss just. And it looks like it actually looks, as you watch, you realize, oh, this is not a mistake. It's not luck. He's actually timing these to perfection. You're going to see something like that again here where Robert is going to come in again And what Izzy's trying to do is at this point, he's just trying to read these engagements. So you can see he comes in again with the jab. Robert does. I'll just show that again. When he comes in with the jab, what he's really looking for is for the jab, but he wants to set up that right hand. So he comes in here with a left jab, and if there's space there, he's going to then set in with a hook or something like that. But Izzy's reading it. And then you also notice that when Robert comes in, if he comes in this straight line, he's going to try to exit to the side that he's punching to. So right there, punches out, and then he's exiting this way. So as this is happening in the fight, Izzy begins to read this movement. He begins to understand that he's going to come in one way and then he's going to try to exit, in that same direction until he begins to set traps for Robert. We're going to see another one here where he comes in again, and at this point for the first few, it's not that Izzy isn't landing or isn't doing anything. And I'll just play that again. He's just really trying to get read. So you're going to see Robert feint, feint, bounce, bounce, and then he's going to come in, you know, and lands that jab again. And you can see in this case, he just misses that follow up, but he's really using that jab, Robert is, as a setup to be able to land something a lot more heavy. Again, comes in, tries again to land with the other one. Now Izzy's beginning to read this. He's not really being offensive in this first part of the fight. He's just making a lot of reads. So you can see here, Izzy's coming forward. Feint, feint. He's going to reset. Moves back. He's going to reset. Robert is still bouncing, coming forward. Now, one of the things I want to right there. See, that's another one of those engagements that we've seen where they come forward, where Robert comes forward, and then, back. So here, Izzy's moving back. You're gonna see Robert right there. This is the story of the fight in a lot of ways. One of the things, so Robert is coming in with a jab. Izzy is framing him up with this hand. So Izzy is framing him up with his left hand. And by framing up, he's trying to not necessarily hit him too hard, but he's trying to hit him hard enough that he can send him to his right hand. So he's going to try to, like, Robert is going to come in this way. Izzy is going to use this hand to frame him, try to frame him this way so that he can land with this. In this case, it doesn't work, but and then you can also see the matrix like, reflexes when that happens as well. The way he's able to just lean back enough and like arc his body so that he's out of arm's reach. And Robert switches up his attacks with a kick. So you see here a few more exchanges. But the premise is now set. So this is how Robert wants to get in. He's getting in. He's coming in pretty much the same way every time. That just misses. Izzy moves back, Superman punch, and then tries a few follow-ups. Again, Izzy moves out of the way. But he's constantly framing him. Once he sees him come in with that attack, he's trying to get he's trying to miss that first jab, frame Robert, and then return with something. Again, you can see that there as well. Um, this goes on, this is like, and at this point again, Izzy's beginning to get more offensive. He's beginning to get he's beginning to get a little more aggressive than he was, in the first part of this round. And he's beginning to say, okay, like now I understand what you want to do. I'm going to start retaliating. And Robert is not necessarily getting frustrated, but he's not hitting anything clean. He has some hits with the jab, but he's also missing. And you can just see there. I'm just gonna rewind that so you see that again from Izzy. That like little stutter step that he does there, that feint, that is right there where he does the feint, does that, and then just misses with that kick. Robert gets out of the way. Robert's good too, by the way. He's pretty good. And I'm gonna take it to the end of the action of the first round now, so you see what happens there. Okay, so going into the end of this round, it's been fairly even. You can see here Robert is planning to do that again. Right there. That's how the first round ends. I'm just going to play that again. Same action as we've seen pretty much the whole of this first round. Robert comes in, misses, and you can see what I was talking about now. He doesn't frame it up well here, but you can see Robert throws that jab or throws that punch, doesn't quite get it. Israel is moving back again, but he's in a stance that's ready to retaliate right away, right? So you see Robert hits him, probably grazes him just a little bit, but he's not backed away or has his hands on his face so he can't retaliate. His hands are clear now. He's now, and you can't see because of the ref, but he's now positioned perfectly for a counter strike. Perfectly. Robert's hand is down because he's now overcommitted, and this hand is not blocking anything. So, boom, lands flush, and the only thing that saves him is the end of the round. Knocks him down, and the only thing that saves him here is the end of the round. And you can see he doesn't even know where his corner is. So now Izzy's really feeling good because he's saying, you know what, this dude has tried this multiple times, has not been successful, and now I know what he's trying to do. And so the second round, there'll be an adjustment period where he's trying to see if Robert is going to keep the same game plan, if he's going to switch things up. And if he isn't, he's now going to start being the more, aggressive, dominant person in these exchanges. I'm just gonna show you what that replay looks like from different angle. Boom, and then I'm gonna show you from behind because in this one the ref kind of obscures the view. If you see from the other angle, right there, you see he frames him up right there, and that's what I mean by framing. He frames him up so he can miss, and then boom. There's not like, that's square on the chin, and that's not a mistake. It's not luck or anything like that. Frames him up. That's what it looks like. So this hand is not really meant to land. It's not really a punch. I know his fist is clenched, but what he's really trying to do is, and you saw this in the Gastelum fight, he's trying to make sure that he knows where you're going to be. And so if I can hold you with one hand or control your head with one hand, I know that I have you in place for this other hand that is coming to really do damage. And this is after Robert has thrown his punch. So he's off balance and he almost has no defense for this. So that's there. And so now he has none. And then that comes back. Let me just show that one more time. So frames him. So he sends him this way, misses this one. And you can see this is that body arc I was talking about. And look at the power. Like that's a perfect hook, man. From behind with your hips, perfect hook. Round two starts. Robert is actually pretty aggressive in the beginning of the second round, but you'll see here Izzy's going to do that. He's going to step away. Robert is going to do that again, and if you notice, it's the same thing that we've been saying. He frames him up so that he can counter strike. In this case, he doesn't actually counter strike, but you'll see, as soon as Robert comes forward again, he does it, I think, just about now, right there. You can see again, this hand he's using to frame him. So as Robert comes in, same entry that he's coming, just look like you can't really see, but there's barely any space there. But that's not going to hit. And now Izzy has his head here. Now, obviously, in this case, he's not able to really hit him, but he's framing him. And it's every time that Robert comes in. And these are the same entries that Robert is using over and over again, which I'm sure he's drilled and maybe has had some success with in the past. But in this case, Izzy is not having any of that. And again, here, entry again, same thing. So I'm just showing you a bunch of these entries. He's going to come in again. You can see it's same entry for Robert. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it's worked for him in the past. Same entry for him. And then there we go again. And you can see Izzy do it. And this one, that happens very quickly, but that hits so hard. I'm just going to see if I can slow this down so you can see. Comes in here. Robert is going to come in. So again, Izzy frames him here. See, Izzy framed him on the other one and then landed here. Like I'm doing it in super slow speed, but you can see here, this is another punch that just hits on the button. There's nothing here. There's nothing. There's no block. It's on the chin. Robert, it catches him clean. And you can see that gets his attention. Oh, he stumbles even a little bit. Again, just do that here so you can see. Robert is going to come in. He feints. He feints. Izzy's also moving. You know, Robert is going to come in just about now. There. And you can already see Izzy's hand over here beginning to frame him. And in the next frame, that happens very quickly, so you can't see it. But in the next frame, catches him. And at this point, Izzy's feelings really good. Really good. He's like, I have this guy on the ropes. I know what he's doing, and he can't stop me. When you see your opponent beginning to do stuff like that, loading their arms, moving away, matrix style, you know that you're now in trouble. Um, and at this point, Robert is flustered and trying to figure out what to do. Okay, so I want you to see what's like. Pay attention to the sequence that's about to happen. Robert comes in, tries the kick, resets, and then he's going to come in again. And here, what you're about to see is essentially the exact same way that the fight ends. Almost exactly like this. And this is, again, we've seen this, I've shown this at least, I'm not even sure how many times, 6 times. There's so many of these, I didn't even show all of them. But you can see again, Robert is coming in, that same hand. Izzy's framing him with this hand to send him here. You can see he has this hand. In this case, he doesn't connect, and Robert finishes with a kick, but that is almost exactly the same way that the fight ends. So we'll see another one here. Robert coming forward again. Or is he coming forward? Robert actually hits him, and then boom. I'm going to like rewind that so you get to see that again. Comes in here, misses, resets. And one thing I want you to notice as well is whenever they start out here, Izzy is in orthodox stance, right? So he's coming forward in orthodox stance. So he's coming forward now, right now. Robert is actually going to hit him with a jab. But even though he does here, like I mentioned, this is kind of what we've seen now. Obviously, Israel's hand has not framed him up yet. But essentially, Robert coming forward, is he trying to send him this way so he can finish him with the counter? And then you can see Robert is throwing this jab, but he also really wants to land this one over here. Now he's missed this one over here, and you can see Izzy here moving backwards. So he hit Izzy with the jab, but as soon as he hit Izzy with the jab, Izzy's already moving backwards. And now this other right hand that was supposed to be the one to really do damage, has missed. Look at, the alignment of his body. He's overcommitted, right? Boom. And you can see now Izzy's back with this one. Soon as he dodged that punch, he was still in a position, in a stance where he's ready to hit you. Not, he's again not covering up in a way where your hands are now no longer useful to you. He's in a position to hit. Frames him up there, and then boom. Work of art. Again, I'll try to do this slow so you can see when, this is the part where they kick, gets out of the way, exit this way. Now they reset. Izzy's going to come forward. Robert is going to hit him with the jab. There. So here, right here, what he's doing is what we talked about with the framing. It looks like he's going to hit him, but what he's really doing now that Robert has overcommitted to this side, is to send him back to this hand that he knows is waiting. You see, sends him there, and boom. That's all she wrote. At this point, the fight is over. He comes in, lands in a few here, but and that's the end. And more of Izzy, knowing that he's in hostile territory, takes his guns out figuratively, figuratively, uh, you know. And don't forget to put it back in your holster, King. There we go. So you can see here that, like, I'm just gonna show this again. He comes in, actually hits, frames him, boom, sits him down. All of that happens so quickly. But these exchanges happen throughout the fight. And every time you thought, you know what, almost. Robert almost. But it's, that's when you realize it's not a mistake. It's not by chance. These exchanges happened a bunch of times. Frames him, brings him back, sits him down. And Robert doesn't even have time to counter. He's also loading his hand, but because his legs are out of position, he's not even in a position where he can really counter strike. So if you take a look at their legs as this interaction begins to happen, just watch Robert's legs here. He comes in, look at Izzy. So Robert's leg is already off the ground. Leg is still off the ground. Look at Izzy's legs. They're still very much planted. Planted still. Now Robert is here trying to set his legs, and you can see his hand is coming back. But because Izzy's legs would never left the ground, really, he never had to reset. So he's already loaded and ready to go. Boom. And like I said, that's really all she wrote. Incredible performance. I think, the only way that you're going to beat Easy, I think right now, is if you're able to either wrestle at like an incredible level, because nobody's really been able to take him down. And a lot of his early fights, people really tried. It's either you do that or maybe you have serious one punch knockout. But I think a lot of the fighters who are in the UFC right now, like Paulo Costa, who's also undefeated, has a lot of power, has a lot of pressure on his own, and is usually looking for the kill. It would take that type of one punch knockout. But I think, even with someone like Paulo Costa, well, from what we've seen, and if that's a fight eventually, I'll do a breakdown for that. Um, he also wears down as the fight goes. Izzy's tank is incredible. He doesn't get tired. He sets traps and he understands what his opponents want to do against him. And he almost lets you lose using your best weapon. So these are the three fights I wanted to do for the Israel Adesanya breakdown. I'm also going to do another video, probably not now, soon, with highlighting his upcoming fight against Yoel Romero, doing a breakdown of how I see that fight going. That's going to be a tough fight. That fight is on March 7th, so I'll do a breakdown for that fight. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please, as always, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel so I can do more of these. Thank you.